It's a special Halloween presentation of the NFL on EA Sports.
And the mile-high air in full effect as that's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. They will run for the first time with David Montgomery. And he'll wind up with about 6 up past the 30 to the 31. The numbers on the ground for Montgomery in last week's affair. 23 carries, 88 yards.
They look like a team that really emphasized the running game in the offseason. They were going to build around it. Didn't matter if they were going to run gap scheme, power scheme, whatever. They've got a runner who finds yardage if you give him just a little bit of space.
And he'll scratch out only about a yard up to the 32. Now, after that last running play, we've got an offensive lineman down on the field. We'll step aside and get a report when we come back to Denver. And, boy, he is very close to a first down, but from where they're spotting that football, he's going to be a foot or so short. Call it a pickup of 3 and also now likely a punt on their opening drive. So on 4th down, Britton Colquitt on to punt. And the win last week punted 4 times as this one's away. It'll be 37 yards there on the punt. And it will be Washington football now with a 1st and 10. They'll run. This is Jonathan Taylor. Oh, that's just not fair. And now room to run. And now off to the races down the right side. Touchdown, Washington. Jonathan Taylor with touchdown number 7 on the year. And Washington has taken a first-quarter lead. Both sides of the football in sync early. You force the 3 and out, and then you take it down, score points.
You know what that tells me? They sold their game plan really well. Head coach said, listen, we're just going to stop them on 3 and out. We're going to take the ball downfield and score. But he also told them how it was going to happen. They're going to run this. We're going to stuff it. Then we're going to take the ball. They won't be able to keep up with us. And they got it done.
And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. So now the second drive offensively coming up for the Denver Broncos. And they are over 500 for the season, 4-3. They got back above 500 with a victory last week. And, Charles, you think this is a very important week for them, do you not?
I certainly do, because when you start to do the math, and, yes, I'm using my fingers to count. If you're 4-4 at the midway point, let's say you're saying 10 wins is your cutoff line for a playoff berth. It's usually right around that number. A loss here, all of a sudden you got to go 6-2 down the stretch just to reach 10 wins. That means this game is vital.
Going to throw on 3rd down with Herbert. Looking for Tate, and it's intercepted. It's Devin White, the linebacker, and he's going to return it to the 21-yard line. So a first interception thrown for him there, and that really not the best decision either.
Not at all, and that's something he did not do in their victory last week. No interceptions in that game, but this defense, they're able to take advantage of an early mistake. Now let's see if they're going to turn it into points. I think we can all understand what they're thinking right now. They take over the ball in field goal range after the turnover, so they've got that in their hip pocket. But they've got to go for the end zone and turn this into bigger points. Their thinking is a touchdown is really what they should get from starting here. Getting 3 points at the end of this drive, that would feel disappointing.
And he's got it. Touchdown. Terry McLaurin with touchdown number 7 on the year. And Washington is able to stretch their lead.
The full team is involved in this game early, aren't they? Go down the field, score on offense, take the ball away on defense, and go right back and score again. You got to like the way that's working for them.
That's exactly right. Touchdown, turnover, touchdown, 2-score lead. A little bit like you at breakfast this morning. I got to get this in. You had a perfect omelet, dropped it, so a little bit of a turnover. You went right back, though, and got that omelet and crushed it.
You got to do what you got to do, man. You got to do what you got to do.
A little worried about your hands, though.
Yeah.
The football going back over to the Denver Broncos. And they're in an early hole. The first drive, they threw the interception. That led to a touchdown, so decent-sized deficit early on.
It is, but I think you hit the key words, early on. So they have to decide, do we even need to change game plan, or do we just need to execute better and try and get back in this game?
On 2nd and 12, Herbert. And that is incomplete. A lot of force bearing down on him there. He could not hang on. It's 3rd down.
That's what you're going to need to do against those big receivers. You got to get in there and get physical with them. That time he got in close, got in tight, and knocked the ball away.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down. Short little throw to Ebron, and he'll be brought down at the 28, and that is well short of the first. Just a 5-yard pickup, and it leads to 4th down. Colquitt on to kick as he sends it away. Take it at the 37. Well, he wasn't too far from breaking that. Officially, give him 15. And Washington will have a short field here as they take over 1st and 10. The time again to see Terry McLaurin in the Washington offense. Sitting right around the midpoint of the season, on pace for 1,000 yards. Good year so far, and I'm sure film study being devoted to him a little bit more on the other side.
They have to, because the pace that he's carrying right now, if you're pushing 1,000-yard pace as a receiver,
and this is caught. Touchdown, Washington. Kyle Pitts hitting double digits with his 10th touchdown of the season. And Washington going to add on to their lead. Extra point by McPherson, up and good. And that makes the score 21-0. So how about this for a start? 21-0 here in the first as they kick this one away. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. Here's the Denver offense now as they get set to take over here. And some dangerous territory. You're already down 3 scores. A 3-and-out here, or an inability to put any points up. This one might be over by half. Yeah, and what you also have to guard against is calling every play for a big shot downfield. You know, thinking you're going to get all these points back on one drive. You're not. And last time I looked, it's still the first half. I'm not saying you have ultimate patience here, but you also don't have to go ahead and force everything either. Back to the ground, this time Montgomery. Great move by Montgomery. And a nice run past the 30-yard line there. That's what they needed. It's an 8-yard gain, and now 3rd and 4 suddenly doesn't look so bad. From the shotgun, here's Herbert. He's got a man. It's his tight end. That's complete. And they're going to have this across midfield and inside the 45. 21-0 our score after 1. This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. Handoff comes to Montgomery. And brought down, but able to get it to their 30-yard line. I think they like this drive a little bit better there, partner. Running game helping out, picking up some of the slack. Because remember, the last drive they went 3-and-out. So 1st and 10 now from the 30. Now Herbert with it, looking to pass. He'll check that down to Gibson out of the backfield. And out of bounds all the way down at the 3. A big play that time on the catch and run. Boy, how about the speed with which this offense can get down the field? It's taken them no time at all to get down here. And now they're set up for the 1st and goal. Montgomery. And this is going to result in losing yardage. They're driven back to the 8-yard line. He lost 6 there on the 1st down play. It's 2nd and goal, back to the 8-yard line now. They try again with Montgomery. And he'll be stopped just outside the 5 at the 6. Only a couple yards there, and that's going to set up a long 3rd and goal. Now it's Herbert. Looking in end zone, but it's incomplete.
Sometimes it's just not your day. There's another failure right there on third down.
Strong coverage by Washington, and now fourth down. The kick by Fairbairn is good. And the deficit drops now from 21 down to 18. So from an offensive perspective, at least able to get on the board here right in front of the 2-minute warning.
Yeah, now it's time to talk about complementary football, isn't it? Because if the defense can force a 3 and out, there could be enough time on the clock that they can get the ball back for their offensive guys and maybe put some more points on the board before the half.
And he will make it to the 20-yard line and no further. Out there set and ready for this next drive, the Washington offense. And they come into this one riding that nice long win streak. And remember, next weekend is an open week for them. So if they can get the win here, a lot of momentum into that time off.
It certainly is. And if you're wondering if anybody's saying, boy, this is coming at a bad time, we want to keep playing, the answer can be yes. Because when teams are on a hot streak, they want to keep going. But what the veterans are telling the young guys in the locker room, an open week is always good, guys. Take it, and let's go with it.
They do get a couple, but they'll be left staring at a 3rd and 8 coming up. Play action. It's Wilson. It got his man. Complete. Past the 20. Touchdown, Washington. Making a hat trick for Russell Wilson. 3 touchdown passes now. And Washington able to stretch that lead out even further. Extra point by McPherson, up and good. And the rout is on here in this first half. So after the made field goal, here's McPherson to send this one away. And here comes a return from just beyond the goal line. And that decision to bring it out ends up not being a good one. Cost him about 5 yards as he's tackled it to 20. Denver offense at the line, ready to go. Their drive last time, it stalled out. They were forced to take the short field goal.
And the key phrase, you nailed it. Forced to, because you know coaches look at these short field goals as a last resort, right? To them, that's not how drives are supposed to end. You're supposed to put 6 on the board. That's a consolation prize. Like going to the county fair, you don't get the big stuffed animal on that one, do you?
No, you don't go top shelf. That's bottom shelf material. On 2nd and 12, Herbert. And the Washington pressure gets to him, and he will go down. DeForest Buckner with a sack, the former number 7 overall pick. After the sack, they'll come up now 3rd and long.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see them run the ball here just to try and get some space.
And indeed, that's what they'll do as they run it here. And he'll take this one only up to about his 13-yard line. It's a gain of just 3, and the offense likely going to yield to the punting unit here on 4th down. So they're forced to punt on 4th as this one's away. Good coverage there holds him to just a 2-yard return following a punt of 44. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. 1st and 10, and kind of tipping their hand at running the ball. 3 tight ends are out there. A carry by Taylor to start the drive. And that'll hurt the average a bit as this time they're able to get him behind the line. And Washington now going to use the first of their 3 timeouts, as they'll stop it with 27 seconds remaining here in the 2nd quarter. They'll get this one down near the 20-yard line, just shy of the 20. Now Washington going to use the 2nd of their 3 timeouts as they stop it with 19 seconds to go in half number 1. And now before the ball changes hands, they're going to take a look at this.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is reversed.
So that challenge, a successful one. Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. They go play action now. Wilson. He lets this one fly toward the back of the end zone. And it'll be incomplete. Good job staying with him defensively. And it'll bring up 2nd down. So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on 1st down. Now Wilson. They're looking for Jefferson, but this is intercepted. Chidobe Awuzie with a pick. And the Broncos are going to take over once again with a football at their own 20-yard line. The Broncos onto the field ready to start their next drive. And they're just going to run it here up the middle. And he's not going to go anywhere as they get him down behind the line of scrimmage. Officially, it's a 1-yard loss. That's going to bring up 2nd and 11. So we are at halftime here on Halloween. As we send you, there you have it. Halftime quickly over. 3rd quarter, here we go. So Washington in a good spot. They've got the lead. They will get the football as the second half gets underway. And that'll be a little too hot to handle as it will skip through the end zone. They go play action with Wilson. It's incomplete. Took a shot, couldn't connect.
And those two just have been in sync thus far. They've done a nice job against him, but still, with his talent, you would expect him to have more completions to him in this game.
Oh, going for Jefferson downfield. A fight for it, and this is caught. What a catch. A huge play there for Washington. Excellent execution, and now they're set up nicely.
Are they ever? Red zone? I wonder what the next play call is going to be, because after a big play like that, a lot of teams like to use the momentum to launch another one.
1st and 10, Taylor now. And he'll get him inside the 15 down to the 14-yard line. And quickly they get to the line. 2nd down, another run with Taylor. And he takes it in. Touchdown, Washington. Jonathan Taylor with his 2nd touchdown of the game, number 8 on the season. And the Washington offense just continuing to pour it on. Extra point by McPherson, up and good. And that will extend this big lead. After the touchdown, McPherson on to kick this one away. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. So now a look at the Broncos as they head back out there for their first possession of the second half. They have been struggling. I would imagine at halftime they went through some possible changes, and he cannot avoid the pressure as the Washington pass rush gets home. DeForest Buckner able to get in there for his 2nd sack of the afternoon. He was still looking through his progressions and going through his receiver options, and while he was doing that, the defense got to him quickly in the pocket.
And it was a great example of zone coverage. Well executed, well coordinated. All the receivers were covered, and he couldn't evade the rush back in the pocket.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. Ball had his hands on it, couldn't bring it in. Pretty symptomatic of how this game's been going. Here's Britton Colquitt now as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. He'll send this one into the mile-high air, and it's a good one. That's taken it around the 40. A nice return there of 11 to help mitigate a good punt. And this offense takes over in great shape right at the 50, 1st and 10. Good starting field position for them here as they come up 1st and 10 right at the 50-yard line. This will be stopped about 2 yards shy of the marker. 8-yard gain, 2nd and 2. On 2nd and 2, Wilson slings this deep from McLaurin. Well, this one incomplete. Oh, he couldn't hang on to it in the end zone, and that's one that'll haunt you. And now it brings up 3rd down. Play action. Now Wilson. He's going to take another shot here. And this is caught. Touchdown, Washington. Russell Wilson now with 4 touchdown passes on the afternoon. And this Washington offense continuing to add to their lead. Extra point by McPherson, up and good. And the lead will swell by 1 more. So after the made field goal, here's McPherson to send this one away. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. Denver's offense now set to go. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
First down, here's the run to Montgomery. And he'll grab a gain of 5 out of this up to the 41-yard line.
Well, they certainly have been able to get him going and establish the run, so I think it's time to abandon that plan and start chucking it all over the park. And you know who's excited about that? The defensive front. They got to just pin their ears back and get after him now.
And this has been a familiar sight all afternoon as they stop him behind the line. That's a big loss of 3, and it brings up 3rd down. Herbert. Trying to get it to Ebron, and it's intercepted. He's picked off just shy of midfield, and he's able to get it back here to the 43-yard line. So 1st and 10, and if they score on this drive, might have to start digging in our second-half blowout material. Now a handoff, Taylor with it, and maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. On 2nd and 11 now. Wilson slings this deep for McLaurin. Looking for McLaurin, and he's got him. Touchdown, Washington. Terry McLaurin, 45 yards. And the interception by the Washington defense leads to a touchdown. Extra point by McPherson, up and good. And that will extend this big lead. After the touchdown, McPherson on to kick this one away. And Denver getting set to take the field. And here we are almost through 3 quarters of play, and this passing game still has not really found any kind of rhythm.
Put it mildly, because they're not even over 100 yards yet. And in today's NFL, where it's a pass-first league, that is quite surprising. Not many teams patient enough to stick with the run. Everybody wants to advance the ball through the air. They've got to get their timing back.
Ball on the 30. They'll come up with a 2nd and 5. Herbert now. That's caught by Marquez Callaway. Had to put that ball in there with a little extra zip, but he put it right where it needed to be.
Yeah, and that little extra pace that he had on the pass, that required a little extra concentration for him, didn't it? Ball can get on you pretty quick in that manner, and he handled it well and picked up the 1st down.
And the Washington pressure gets to him. He will go down. DeForest Buckner able to disrupt yet another pass play. That is his 3rd sack of the afternoon. Throwing on 2nd and long. Herbert. And he finds Montgomery complete. They get 11 back on that one. It leads to 3rd down. The Broncos on 3rd down. Just 1 conversion in 8 tries. Not good. This is going to be 3rd and 13. Here's Herbert. Got his man complete over the middle. It's Davis. And he'll go down to the ground at the 39, and obviously that's well short of the 1st. They stop him for only 3 that time, and that'll bring up 4th down. One thing I think that's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good. And he can't field it cleanly. It's loose. But fortunately, he's able to recover his own fumble, or that could have been trouble. Now, if you're a fan of punting, this game's for you. He's been out there quite a bit. That one maybe his best yet.
Yeah, he certainly got his leg loose by now. It kind of reminds me of my college football coach, John Majors. He loved the punting game because he liked the positioning, the field position.
Well, this is taken in. It's complete. The 20. And he will get into the end zone. It's another touchdown. This thing is ugly. They seemingly just continue to score at will, and as great as it's been for the offense, you got to feel for that defense down there.
I love how you use the word will, because both teams came into the game with the will to win. But one team has obviously imposed its will on the other and broken them. Because what we're seeing right now, wow, that's a defense that's in tatters after what they faced in this ball game.
From a couple yards deep, he'll bring it out of the end zone. And ultimately cannot get this out to the 25-yard line as he's dropped at the 23. Denver offense at the line, ready to go. And hoping to do better than they did their last possession when they punted the football.
Appeal to the vanity of your offensive line. Tell them that they control your fate. Leverage guys. Win the line of scrimmage. If you do that, you start to win first down. You win second down. And guess what? You start accumulating first downs. And that's what they need in order to not punt the ball again.
Just 2 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. So it's Bronco football as we get you reset here. They've got a 1st and 10 as they search for a late score. On first down, Justin Herbert. He's going to drop this one down to Gibson. 3 yards the gain there, 2nd down.
And we see another pitch and catch there to the running back. This position just continues to evolve. They become just as critical to the passing attack as a lot of receivers, tight ends, because their ability to make people miss in the open field can really generate big plays for an offense.
4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a 3rd down. Again, Herbert. On Herbert, his 3rd interception. Picked off at the 48, and they get the football. They'll set up shop at their own 49-yard line. Well, partner, I got to tell you, I'm trying to think of something positive to say for this offense, but I'd have to be a spin doctor for that one. This has been a tough performance to watch.
And I think it's hard at this point to actually identify what's really gone wrong.
He's got a man complete. And they are going to score again. Yet another touchdown as they just add to their totals.
Well, there's just about a minute left in this game, and they're still taking it into the end zone. And you know they could have taken a knee there, but they decided to play this one all the way out. And I think their philosophy is, we're going to give you everything we've got. If we just go ahead and take a knee now, we're actually showing you disrespect that way, like taking pity on you. They're not about to do that to their opponent.
This fielded right at the goal line. And a loose football. And it's Washington that scoops it up. And his guys are going to take over at the 21-yard line. Oh, Wilson going to throw. Dancing to his left. And he will get into the end zone. It's another touchdown. This thing is ugly. And McPherson on for the extra point. And this one was over a while ago as they just add on to their big lead. Well, they got the ball in great field position. One play later, boom, end zone. So after the made field goal, here's McPherson to send this one away. Taken at the goal line. And he won't quite make it to the 25. The Broncos onto the field, ready to start their next drive. Let's just be frank. They're playing for pride at this point.
That's all that's left, because victory, not a chance now. And I can't wait to see how they actually go about doing it, because there are a lot of people watching the body language of the guys on the field now, and if they call plays they want executed, they need to do that and do it really well. Otherwise, there could be repercussions.
We'll see how they handle the waning moments of this one. From the 29, Herbert. This one swung out to Montgomery. And he'll be out of bounds across the 30-yard line. The result, only 4 yards there on the play. And that is going to set up a 3rd and 1. Out of the gun, Herbert. He's got an open man. He completes it to Callaway. And he gets this up across the 35 before he's out of bounds. So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. To the air again, Herbert. And he cannot avoid the pressure as the Washington pass rush gets home. And Washington now going to use the first of their 3 timeouts. It's just their first. They've got 2 more to use here in the final stages. To try again after the sack. Herbert over the middle. He gets it to Gibson. Now Washington going to use the second of their 3 timeouts. That'll leave them with just 1 remaining in this 4th quarter of play. Third and long. It's Herbert. Oh, had his hands on it. Couldn't bring it in. Pretty symptomatic of how this game's been going. Here's Britton Colquitt now as they're forced to kick for the 6th time today. Well, Charles, it's one thing to win. It's another thing to win and put up the amount of points that they did. Boy, were they clicking on offense.
They can't help but feel great about themselves, can they? I mean, what a game to put up that number of points, continually feeling like they're moving the ball and things are working and clicking. They think that they can bottle this and carry it with them.
And as an offensive coordinator, you just don't think you can do anything wrong. Whatever you call, run, pass, it's all going to work.
That's called being in the zone.